Uh, Good evening, welcome to Hartwood Turning in the Stable Studio. Um, Covering for Wayne tonight because he's off enjoying himself down at Yandles. I'll just change cameras to over here. I'm laughing because Terry's in the background and he's doing my head in already. So I'll let you see who's in the back. And oh, come on, mouse work. I'll let you see who's in the. You can guarantee that's not Joe. Where is my mouse? Oh, there it is. There we go. Terry from TJ Turning and Joe Senior.
Hello,
Are
everybody.
helping.
Welcome
Helping tonight.
aboard.
Uh,
The
well,
Arties. Welcome
Joe's here to
aboard.
help. Terry might be here to hinder, so we'll see how it goes.
Hi, the Arties.
So
Hello, everybody.
I gave you. We had.
Evening.
I'll put you back in the background there, guys.
Thanks.
We we had a choice on Thursday. I'll let you see this. Just
6 hours.
we had a
Thursday.
choice on Thursday. We did this little pot on Thursday, which I've given a couple of coats of lacquer to, so that's progressing.
Looks brilliant.
And we're going to do a few more bits to that yet. So I'll stick that back over on the projects table beside the other projects and switch to that camera. This is the other piece of wood that you had the choice of. Piece of olive ash, 9 1/4 by 2.5. So we'll go turn a bowl out of it. And it's texturing weak, but I've got a funny feeling this is going to be nice. It's got some nice little branch inclusions in it on both ends. The only issue is maybe that the pith is right here. So right in the middle of it. All the way through. So we'll have to do some. We'll be taking most of it out anyway.
Fix, Brian.
And a bit of resin couldn't fix us right, although I haven't got any resin. So first thing I'm going to do is I'll put you back on that camera. Takes a second to focus that camera. I'm going to make a tenon here. So I've got it marked out already. 48mm tenon for my SC4 chuck. The piece is held currently in a in the SC4 chuck with a faceplate ring. So I'm just going to mark the edge of this tenon. Turn the lathe on. Turn the speed. Turn the lathe off again because what have I forgotten? I forgot my safety glasses. So let's get my safety glasses on.
Have you read your reminder board? What you need to do?
Money time.
Press record. And let me go quickly. Just do something here.
Joe, the £28 reward is in the post.
You can read out who's in the chat while I do this.
I'll do that. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. So we have Weeval, Neil M, Susie, the Swiss wood turner, Michelle Ousby, hi Michelle, Jennifer Crackle Creations, Gav Sidey Woodwork, Doug Miller, Gary Glass. This is where it always slows down because I've got to pan down to the Woodworm Paul, Dara Coulon.
So I'm back again.
Okay, we have Barry Chitty, Copra Wood Turning. Good evening, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Norman Greenwell.
Hi, Val.
Deep voice there. And we have it going.
That could do
James
a whole
Crawford.
lot faster. Maybe a little bit slower.
Todd Glen Cove Woodworks. Roy's the Boy. Paul Hoyton. Dave Oaty.
That should be enough of a tenant.
The Yorkshire Gate. Good evening, Glyn.
Glynis.
Mike Hugh. Pat Cumming. Kev at 9K Creations. Ward Wilson.
Right, let's start taking some off the edge.
Say Paul Hooton, the Crease Returner.
You did?
I did, because the next one that would be the same. David J. Heath. Larry Nixon. Mark Harvey. Ruby Claire. Hi, Ruby.
Well,
Ruby.
Ruby.
Got the
Wood turning
overhead down
by
just for a second.
Barry. What? Sorry, Brian.
Okay, I just went to the overhead there. Let you see
Okay.
the cut from the
Turning.
overhead.
Okay. Turning Time Creations. Mr. G's wood turning. Michael and Christine Heseltine. Wow. Shane Hurst. Robert Buchanan. Donna Love Angel Artist. Ooh, it's just jumped. Just keep going. And I think
Oh, there's a lot of people.
possibly I'm at the end of it.
Okay, what about, did you say Susie is return?
I did.
And did you say,
Hi, Susie.
I lost it now, Kev at K9?
I did.
Oh, well. Larry Nixon,
I did.
just testing.
Oh,
she hasn't missed
See if
Grandpa
you're
Jim
alert.
Wood. Grandpa Jim Wood Turner.
She didn't miss too
Jim.
many then. Just bring that in a bit
Mark
closer.
Harvey says, good evening, all sold me some wood turning today, first
Oh,
time. Thanks
man,
to
Mark,
your
well done.
lives. Thanks to your lives.
Oh, good man, Mark. Well done.
Yeah.
Hello, Ruby.
Well done.
Mr. G's in. He said that.
Yep. Said him.
Michael has a party.
No. Good evening,
Oh,
Michael.
All turned out fine, Ruby, by the way, just to let you know. Grand job. I owe you. Brian,
Yes, mate.
you just put me on camera a minute.
Give me a second because it takes half an hour to wake this mouse up.
Okay.
There's Terry.
Did I remember I said to you that Ruth's going to make me some supper?
He
Just
did.
a snack.
Wait till you see this. And the name of
Just a
you go sit
wee
there and eat that
snack.
while you're
It's
talking.
like a
while you're
full
supposed to be
tea,
eating
that,
one.
isn't it?
I may have to mute myself while I jump into this,
Ah,
people.
well,
You
yeah,
may.
just
Right,
leave
get
me
off,
to
get
it.
back in the background. Go on.
Rub
I
it
can't
in, why
believe
don't you?
Meal fit for a king. Meal fit for a king, she says. Thank you, dear. Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome, Terry.
Hey, the things you have to do.
You don't hear from me for a little while. It's just because I'm eating.
Eating. Yeah.
Still watching.
So I've really got my mortise made here, so I can just work this on out now.
People are saying how spoiled Terry is. He sure is.
Completely ruined. There's there, Terry. I'll just go adjust this tool rest a little bit just to get in there better. Just there, that'll do. All good.
Grandpa Jim says, Terry, nice to hear your voice again. And Dave Otis got a question for you there, Terry.
The rumour is correct, David.
Just a nice little shear cut there, just to try and finish that up and see what that looks like. I'm going to have to finish the bottom anyway because we'll be removing this tannin. I want to make this foot just a little bit smaller, so we'll have a look at that camera. Oh. Pencil's blunt. Patented sharpener from Mr. Benjamin.
Larry Nixon's asking, what size gouge is that?
It's a 1/2 inch or 5/8 if you're in America. It's a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. That's it there. From Robert Sorby. It's my weapon of choice.
Weapon?
So foot about there somewhere. I won't worry about that because we've got a slight dip in there already, so we can finish that when we get to that. So now we're going to be coming round this side of the bow.
Boys, I think it's another question for Terry is how's the workshop going?
So I'm going to try and get a little bit more speed out of this now. Now it's a little bit more balanced. That's better. That's up to 800. That should be plenty. So if that's going to be my foot, I'll work into it.
The workshop is totally blank canvas, except for my 508 lathe. Things are being ordered as we speak.
The question is it nicely measured up now? Ready to start turning? So
It will be as soon as I build an office in there. So I don't get my computers.
A little OG shape on this, I think. Sort of
so
OG.
I've got to ask, what is an OG shape?
It is a curve in and then out and then back in again.
If you look at the profile, it looks like an S.
Right.
Okay.
Give you that. So it's coming from there, it goes in, then it comes back out again, and then it goes back in.
Got you.
Then it'll come back out to the end here.
Okay.
I'll make it a bit nicer on the mat.
Wesley Anna's in.
Right.
AGK Woodworks has joined us.
Oh,
Another question from Dave Oaty for you there, Terry.
Why am I getting so much bouncing?
Long way away. Way up north, mate.
Way up north to Alaska.
You'd be learning a new lingo.
That should be better now. That's kind of squared that up.
Hey up, lad.
Hey up.
So there. Back in again, just by moving my hips. And then rotate my hips out again.
Gary's saying that makes sense. Now an O and a G, that looks like an S.
I did, Dave.
You get a lot of Roman OG on skirting board.
Ah, right, got you. I just had to ask, that's all, because I wasn't so sure.
We're going to try a little push cut with a 3/8 bowl gauge. So from the edge, from here, and take that.
No, the OG bright. No, where it comes out there, that's where it should start going in.
What, here?
Yeah. If take it from the top down,
yes,
right?
from here.
You go in there. You go in there. In. Then from the top rim.
And here.
You go in there,
Out,
then out, and around.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've got, Terry, but I'll get there and just give me a sign.
That's right.
I'll be there. So I'm just going to take a little cut from there. So we're going in there. I'm pushing the handle away currently. And now as we come to the high spot here, pull the handle back towards me. Over the high spot. And keep the handle coming towards and then move my hips from right to left. Push it in there a bit. Keep the handle down. And then back to the right again.
That is a double OG.
There we go.
Which looks really good. You've got a nice
So
base then.
In, out, in,
In.
out, in.
You got double OG there because it's in and out and
I know.
finish.
I know.
Lovely. What's it looking like then? All round? Is it worth texturing, colouring, or what?
Well, let me have a
Looks
look
quite
from
nice.
here.
I like the dual colour.
So we've got a nice band of dark colour here. And same on the other side. I think that might look okay. I don't see why we need to why we would texture that.
Ruby says she usually makes an OG from the top down. There shouldn't be any flat.
There's no flat. There is no flat. This comes in and then goes back out and then it's in again. Out to the
Actually, I quite like that wood. So
yeah,
It's
I like
nice,
it
isn't
too.
it?
I'm going to leave it the way it is, I think.
mm,
And that just needs sanded now. That's all that needs. So we'll give it a quick sand, and I'm going to power sand it on the outside as well. Oh, I've already got
People
a drill
are
over there.
agreeing with you, Brian. It doesn't need texture or colour.
Nope, doesn't need anything. I think so. We'll stick a little bit of 120 grit in there and see what that. There's a little, just tiny little line there, but I think we'll get it out now. Extractor on. Let's bring that extractor over a little bit to there. Down a wee bit so you guys can see. Turn the speed down a little bit. So sanding roughly about 600 revs.
Stephen the Wood Dude's in. Hello, Stephen.
Good evening, Stephen.
Chuck something on my drill.
Kev's asking, are you going to use Danish oil?
I was thinking about Danish oil. But we'll see how that goes when we get there. So many of you guys were at Yandles today. If
Is it
anybody.
only in for the one day?
No, it's the weekend, is it not? Is it not on tomorrow again?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I never looked because I knew I wasn't going. So Chuck's not standing up very well on that drill.
Roy went to a steam fair today. Sorry, Joe.
No, it's okay.
How did it go, Roy? Was it good? Steam fair.
Steam fair. Yeah. Love them. So I'll just give this edge a run. I'm actually going to be taking a bit off the top anyway, so we'll not worry too much about that edge. Just taking the sharpness out of it there. I think that'll do for 120. This edge on the foot is perfectly okay. I'll just need to remove the tannin, so we'll sand that as well. And that'll leave me a little less in the middle to finish off sanding. Because that foot actually steps in slightly there, so we've got a little in. Put that on the overhead. We've got a little in direction this way. And then this sits a little bit proud, so that'll turn off nicely. We'll get that right across the middle. So that looks really nice, I think. Switch it off a second, just check it for tool marks.
Donna said she had a look and it said one day. She looked as she's nosy and wondered where it was. Laugh out loud.
Okay. I know where the Yandles have been. So we'll give us another run here.
I've been too.
So that was 120. This is 180, I think. No, it's not. It's two. Yeah, it is 180.
Kev saying heavy horse show with steamers tomorrow, Brian.
Ah.
I thought all horses were heavy.
Then Michelle says, hi Kev, behave.
They are, but there's a breed of heavy horses. The breeds like Percherons, Suffolk Punches.
Shire horses were heavy.
Shire horses, not so much. They're a kind of, well, Shetland, not Shetlands. Shetlands are wee tiny horses. Clydesdale horses, for example, are not actually heavy horses, although some people class them as heavy horses.
Right.
Because they were bred out of a heavier horse and a lighter horse, like a almost like thoroughbred type horses, to make them smaller and more maneuverable.
Okay. We've got William Kenny in and JP Company as well. JP Company says Belgians.
Belgian drafts are huge, massive big horses.
Kevin's saying his uncle was a top Suffolk Punch breeder. Sold one to Euro Disney for the tram. Wow.
Beautiful horses. Suffolk Punches are fabulous horses. And they're on the endangered list.
Are they?
Oh, yeah.
Right, finished eating. That's it.
That should be 240 grit done.
Roy said
he
said he's seen his show was very good. He saw a sawmill cutting a 200-year-old spouted beech powered by a traction engine.
Lovely. So there may be trouble ahead now, guys, because
there could be trouble ahead.
It's time for
2 tins of Yorkshire grit. Is it that absorbent?
Oh, no, the reason there's 2 tins that one's nearly empty. But first and foremost, let's get a little board on. Let's get some sanding sealer on this. We'll get a right look at the grain on it. Oops, I should have shook that first, shouldn't I? Give that a wee shake first. There we go.
Suffolk Punch or Suffolk Sorrel.
Right.
Sorry, I had to look.
I've never heard of a Suffolk Sorrel, I have to say.
It's known as either or, I suppose.
I did, Roy.
I've always known with Suffolk Punches. But anyway,
beautiful looking animal.
I'll defer to somebody who knows.
No, I was just reading it off the internet. I just thought I'd have a look at the picture.
Yeah, they're stunning big horse. Tell you where you'll see one occasionally is on Countryfile. Adam, the farmer from Countryfile, he has he keeps some rare breed stuff, and he has a beautiful Suffolk Punch mare that he's had real trouble with trying to get a foal out of. But I think he's managed it now.
Now Gary Glass says bleedy lug time.
Sammy. Got to listen out, have you, Gary?
Let's give that a second or two just to sit in there and evaporate off. I have that thinned down to 60-40, so it shouldn't take that long. So what I will do is I'll just de-nib it with some shavings.
Kev says the Sussex Punches is back on the rise.
Good. Oh, that's good then, Kev. I know that last time I heard Adam of Countryfile fame talking about them, he was talking about them being really
down.
They need more stallions. Apparently, they're having trouble breeding stallions out of them. And
women again.
A lot of them just produce mares, so that might be an issue ongoing. Yes. Right, so that's nice. So let's do a little tub of Yorkshire grit. Not much left in that one, so.
Oh no, there isn't, is there?
That's why.
Stand by your beds, guys. Stand by your beds. Here comes. 30-second warning.
Well, there isn't very much in there at all, so we'll just clean this tub out, I think. Oh, well, there's maybe enough.
That'll be enough for that. You start the new one on the inside.
Ah, well. Just do a little bit at the bottom there. I'm starting to think that I like bowls with a kind of steep side so you can actually see them when they're on the table. Hence the shape of this one.
If you have a tiny little foot on it height-wise, then you get the little gap underneath, which gives you a shadow line.
Okay. So what I need to do now is I need to take this tin. It's not even off. I haven't got the tape off it yet.
Oh,
Save the tape, but come in handy. Use it twice.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Mike Waltward.
Joe put this
Now,
bit of
Kev
tape
says-
on. I know, rightly.
Yeah. Kev says it was close. His son's girlfriend has a stallion, Juice, and goes around the world.
Get
So
on.
I'll change that, put that lid on that tin, and then put my own lid on that tin.
Just
That's
like
got
that.
the sign on it saying Sand and Sealer first.
First.
Sanding sealer first, yep. Only because they got a sign on it. Turn the speed down to below 500 if you can manage it. That's a whole lot more than below 500, Brian.
Ready, Joe?
I'm always ready.
Get on then.
Hands I feel pity can be soft as your face. With light brown, Yorkshire gritty.
So this takes a minute or two. So we'll just persevere with this, guys. And talk amongst yourselves.
Good evening, Paul Findlay. Paul Findlay,
Paul.
returning's at home is in. Hello, buddy.
Good evening, Paul.
Welcome to the show.
Should have sent William Kenny the link this evening. He could have came in and earwormed as well.
He could have. William, you should have been here.
Yeah, he's in the chat.
God damn it. Next time. Train up a new
Yes.
earworm.
Because he came in the time that I had to cancel. He was in ready to earworm, and then I had to cancel
We didn't
because
see
the
him.
internet went ski.
Is that William's fault or just
That was,
coincidental?
well, I blamed William right away, like, of course.
All right, okay. Just checking.
It wasn't his fault at all. William put the scud.
Always somebody's fault.
Yeah, William put the
So-
scud on it.
Having said that, if William's got cameras to earworm, then William's got a camera to do it live.
Oh, William's got a full setup now.
Then he should be
Ooh.
Edit
setting up
software
ready.
and everything, yeah.
Larry's
Monday
asking,
lunchtime's
do you
good,
use
William.
a vacuum truck?
No,
Sorry.
it's not Monday lunchtime. It's Thursday lunchtime for William. What would you
They
say
do
about
Monday
vacuum truck?
Larry Nixon's asking, do you use a vacuum truck?
Vacuum truck.
Not currently, Larry, because I haven't got one. But by the end of this month, I will have.
Because he's getting one.
I've been saving up for one, and my good friend Glenn is going to bring one over to me, because he bought himself a brand new one, and he's going to.
The postage
me
is
the
so
old one.
expensive, he can't have it sent. He's going to have it brought over.
Well, it's a bit expensive right now, I have to say. So I can still hear this grip working and feel it working under my fingers. So I just go persevere for a minute.
Do you want Joe to sing again? Just to speed it up.
No. Will that speed it up?
Gary Glass wants to know what cameras does anyone use?
Right, Gary. I have got 3 different kinds of camera. But what I'm going to recommend to you is for it depends what you want to do. Let me just show you this camera. This camera that I'm on now is a C920, a Logitech C920, which is a perfect camera. It works perfectly well. This camera is a camcorder, so you can focus. You can zoom it if you need manually on the camera. This camera is exactly the same. It's the same one, same breed of camera. It's a Canon, and you can zoom that manually as well if you want. And this is the newest camera on my arsenal. It's this camera. So maybe take a second to focus. That is a Logitech Brio, which is ready to be a 4K camera. It's going to be a 4K camera. So it's a really nice camera, and it's got a narrower field of view. So the C920 has quite a big, wide-angled field of view, whereas the Brio here has a narrow field of view. And I think that's quite a
better
nice
picture without having to zoom in.
Yeah. That's that camera not zoomed at all, and it has a zoom feature in it. So turn the lead speed up to about 1,000 now.
Your
and
wood
we'll just
supplier
remove the excess Yorkshire grit whilst it's still working.
Good evening, Richard.
Evening, Richard.
Evening, Richard. How you doing, buddy?
It is a really nice picture.
It is.
It is, isn't it?
Super camera, because it is 4K quality. I mean, I know
It is. I mean, it's
YouTube
recording.
won't do it at 4K, but it's recording at 4K, so it gives because of the narrow field of view when you start, your picture's crisp and fine. So you zoom in, it gets even better. Whereas if you have a real wide angle and you try and zoom it in, you lose quality.
It is a really nice little camera, but they're much more expensive than the C920s.
Yeah.
C920s these days you can pick up for sitting around £50 each, and the Brios are still around £100 odd, 125. Although I picked that one up on eBay for £70.
Now, Roy is asking, what size is your bowl at the moment? Didn't it set off about 9.5 inches?
It started off at 9.5 inches, Roy. I haven't lost anything off the outside, and I haven't touched the outside at all.
By 2.5, wasn't it?
By 2.5, yeah.
Gav saying he used webcams, but then changed to a Canon bridge camera.
Right.
He's telling Gary that.
You can use any camera, basically, that will produce video. But what you've got to watch is, with camcorders and things like that, you've got to make sure it has a clean HDMI output.
If it doesn't, you go on YouTube Live, then you'll get all the things that can't say focus, this, that, and the other.
Correct.
You know,
right.
Aperture, speed. It'll all come up, and you'll see the screen that you see.
Whatever's on the screen is what it produces, unless you have a clean HDMI output.
Right. Yeah, because Wesley says he's got Galaxy S8 that he uses and a GoPro Hero 7.
Easily done too. Yep, they'll both work. You could do an iPhone. You could set yourself up and get started with an iPhone. That's what I started with: 2 iPhones and a GoPro, and wasn't a GoPro. It was something else.
Wesley Hannah uses a Galaxy S8 and a GoPro Hero 7.
There you go. Perfect.
I did just say that actually, Derry.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at
finishing off your supper, weren't you?
I've got that.
Putting the plate down.
Yeah, I bet. But I wouldn't even know where to start with it all, so I just leave it to Glyn to set all cameras up.
Good plan.
Yeah, or buy them in the first place and set them up.
What you should do, Joe, is you should get Glyn to be your cameraman.
You also great in this. I'm not going to oil it. I'm going to
Glyn being the cameraman.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick some Hampshire sheen on this now, guys. Hampshire sheen just to finish off the bottom.
Yeah, it's good. It's a nice looking.
It's actually a nice colour and everything. So
it is, isn't it?
Just give it a bit of a shine up.
When are you going to take that tenon off?
Right at the very end. That's the last thing that comes off.
Okay. Oh, of course, because you've got to pull out the middle dirt.
I have to turn it round and turn the outside, the inside out now. Turn the inside out. Yeah, okay. Turn the inside out.
Or turn the other side in.
Yeah. I can lose that.
Gary's saying, "Me too, Joe. I'm a tech, but
So again, turn the speed up, and just the lightest touch with the cloth now. Nice clean piece. It doesn't take very much. The good thing about Hampshire sheen is you don't have to wait. There's no waiting time. Once you've applied it and it starts to go tacky, you can just buff it up. Other wax finishes can sometimes take you need a waiting time or a curing time.
Weevil says, "Yes, make videos, Joe. We need more girlies turning."
Tried to get Michelle to come out and try her hand at wood turning. She did wood turning at school, would you believe?
Yeah, I did.
So I tried to get her to come out, but she's not that interested.
Yeah, I managed to make 2 legs of a 3-legged stool.
So there we go. That'll do that. That's a nice little shiny finish on that. Quite happy with that.
Roy's asking Brian, are you going to do the same shape on the inside?
I'm not sure yet because have to look and see what's on the inside. You'll see now.
All will be revealed.
Oh, made a mistake there, haven't I? What was the mistake I made, Terry? Why am I putting this back on? Because I want to make sure I've got a centre mark in there. So we'll just stick that cone centre on there. And we'll bring this up and give it a little dunt there, just to make sure we've got a centre mark for when we come to reposition that on the lathe later. And now we'll take it off and turn it. Michelle made a lamp. She still has it 44 years later.
Yeah, wow.
That's longer than she's had me, you know.
Well, you know.
That's a bit scary, like.
William's saying he's bought all the kit cameras, computer cables, and did not have a clue. God bless YouTube.
God bless YouTube is right. So that's that on there. Give it a nice tighten up.
I'd fancy doing a lamp.
Don't over tighten your tenon. That should be fine. And we'll just check, see how that runs. And speed down. It's a bit wobbly. It's a little bit wobbly. Should be okay. Right. Let's get that get off. Let's get the ring off. So we'll remove the faceplate ring. I use 30mm screws on this. There we go. So just 30mm screws. Don't fall off. That can go back on its faceplate body holder. Screws back in the drawer. We'll use them again. And the first thing we'll do is we'll just clean the face of this up a little bit and see how flat it is. Again with a 1/2 inch bow gauge. Just check we're at the right height there. That's good. Turn that back on. Speed up again.
Now, Turning Time Creation says, I make custom motorcycle grips. I don't know if people would want to see me make more than a pair. Well,
so for this cut, I'm just kind of standing at the lathe, my right foot slightly forward, my left foot slightly back. And all I'm doing is I'm rocking my weight from my right foot and sliding it backwards, shifting my weight onto my left foot, keeping the tool at the same angle all the way across the face.
I could do that, Kev. I could go
Handles
around
down
to
nice and low. And that should be that flat now. That should be good. Excellent. A nice sharp edge there now, so we need to watch our fingers. Make sure we don't get into trouble there. I'm just going to withdraw that tool, it's just a fraction. And I need to decide on a rim now. I think we'll make this quite fine. So we'll go somewhere about here for the rim. Yeah. We'll go with that, make it a nice thin, elegant bolt rather than a heavy thing. So we'll start here and we'll just take a bit out of there. And work our way across to the middle.
So why do you do it in steps like that?
Because all we're doing here is removing the waste wood, the bit that we don't need. And if I can show you this, I don't know if I can. What I'll do is I'll put this camera on over here. Try this camera from here. See, will this show you the movement? There you go. So if I just get myself positioned here, my handle's well down, resting on the tool rest. All I've got to do is make a slight adjustment to my hips. So from there, engage the cut, and then just rotate my hips to the right.
Right.
And as soon as I make the cut, the bevel's engaged there. See, it's just kind of oh, you can't see it now. Go there. Change cameras, Brian. So the bevel just sits there now, and I can push that in. And all I'm doing is moving my hips across.
Okay.
It's a really efficient way of removing timber. Back to the edge again. So reposition myself just a little bit further to the right and do the same thing again. And what I'll end up with in a minute is a little cone in the middle. And I'm going to leave a little lump in the middle so there's a bit of weight in there. A bit of substance in the middle of the bowl. And now I've got an edge here where I can start to think about making the finishing cut down here. I'm going to take one more pass there, just a little bit there. Bring that out to the edge. So that's me almost on the line there. And I'll just come down there. And now I'm going to go flat across the bottom. That's that. I'm going to take my 3/8 bowl gauge now. I'm just going to do a finishing cut from here down to here. So start with your handle well over into the center of the lathe. Make sure the bevel's pointing the direction you want it to go and it's horizontal. Start the cut. Drop the handle slightly. And just follow that on down. And what I'm trying to do is line the bevel up with the outside of the bowl. About there. I'll just nip that a little bit away.
Larry Nixon says it would be cool if you could do a split screen with one camera from the side and one from the top.
I haven't actually set up for any split screens, but I know what you mean. Yeah, I could actually. I'll set that up for the next for my next live if you like. But I'll show you that move cam again there, and just let you see where the tool and everything is there. So that's where the tool is.
Saying, did you learn that at Glenn Lucas's?
I certainly did. I'm just going to do that cut one more time, just to finish it off. A nice light cut. So tiny little shavings this time. And the important thing to remember here is when you get down to the bottom, you got to think about closing the face by rotating your wrist clockwise, so if you don't get a catch in the bottom.
JPN is looking at the tailstock so you can see Brian's body movements. That's why he put the camera on there.
I'll go back to here again. So that's, you see how my body operated there. And I'll just show you that cut again. So I picked up the cut there with the bevel pointing in the direction I wanted to travel. Got bevel support, and then just run the bevel all the way down through there with the bevel open, so the flute's pointing up this way. And then as I got down to where this bulk is, all I did was rotate my wrist closed and to like come up against the edge of that, so as it didn't get a great big catch on the bottom wing. That can easily happen there. You could get a big catch in there and ruin your whole bow. So bring it in nice and slowly, and then rotate it closed. And that's that little bit there. That's that little bit finished.
Looks really nice. Gary's saying, Brian, you need a coring system.
I have a coring system, and look out on Monday. I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to show you it. I'm going to try and core a piece for the first time on Monday evening. So I'm going to take this away now because I don't need it now. So back to the 1/2 inch gouge, and I'll do the same thing again. Standing and just rotating the hips again, and just take that all the way down.
Michelle confirmed that you've got one.
She knows everything.
Yeah. Why do you leave such a big amount of wood in the middle like that?
Because
is there a reason for it?
Yeah, it adds stability, Joe. If I took all that wood out and had this thin edge, it would start to flap about.
Right,
it would
okay.
start to move. Because this is quite thin, I can actually move that a little bit with my fingers. So if it's spinning at 1,000 revs, it's just liable to distort itself. And then you get a whole lot of chatter and banging. And it's not a very nice cut there, actually.
Doug Miller's having to go. He's saying goodbye. Bye, Doug.
Bye, Doug. See you later, mate. Get a bit more speed out of that, I think. That's better. So I added a bit more speed because I'm in the middle here. And the wood is going a bit slower there. It's not rotating as quickly. Let me just get rid of this bit.
As Gav says, you were doing the wood turner's waltz, which is what Robertson calls it.
Yeah, exactly, the wood turner's waltz, yeah. Just
all in the hips.
It all comes from the hips, yep. Right, so I'm just going to move my tool rest in there a little bit. Just to get it in a little bit closer. There's a bit of a soft area there, I need to watch that. So there's a piece there, guys. This bit here is really soft. Don't know what that is. And it goes all the way up to there.
Pith.
Oh, that is a pith. That's exactly what it is. It's the pith. And do you know what the pith is, guys? The pith is where the sapling was in this tree. And that's
very center of the tree.
Yeah, it's the very center of the tree. That's where the sapling first grew. And then that's the first bit to rot out. When you get a hollow tree, that's what goes.
Now, Gaff's saying that Robertson calls it the wood turner's waltz, all in the hips.
It is.
You weren't listening to me then, Jill.
No, did you say that?
Yeah, you just said that a minute ago.
Well, I'm just getting my own back.
I know. You want to do that, you have to wee into the wind.
You can go a little bit further down here now.
Always checking the depth, of course, Brian.
Yeah, I've got loads of depth, Terry. I'm more worried about the shape of the outside. But we've got loads of depth. There's no mortise, it's a tenon, and I've got at least an inch and a half here.
Oh.
So we'll just be quite brutal here and get rid of this. Although it's not causing me any extra work, I'm just letting the tool do the work.
It's 10 to 9, Brian.
What speed you're running at, Brian, just to know?
We're currently at 1,000 revs.
Okay.
Which is probably enough for a small piece.
Yep.
Yes, thanks, Andrew.
I tend to do most of my bowl turning at about 1,000 to 1,200. Spindle turning Yeah, get the speed cranked the way up. So we'll stop there. We'll just test that depth just to make sure. And we don't want a funnel.
And Dara says, I think I would put some thin CA in the soft pith before my finish cut.
It's gone. The pith is gone. That soft piece is gone completely because the pith go to the overhead. There's the pith right there. So I'm put my finger on it. There's the pith there. Look, back to the tailstock. There's the pith right there. Okay. So I'm now below the pith. So we've taken all the pith out across the middle there. So we're left with a little bit in the bowl, which we will super glue when we. Once I've sanding sealed that, I'll just drop a little bit of super glue in each bit of the pith, and that'll secure that, and it should just stay there. And if it does happen to rot out, we'll just have a nice little hole on either end. It'll be a nice little feature. So let's just do a little bit more down the bottom here. There we go. Now I'm going to take a nice little cut there. So we're down there. We need to come in a little bit further here. But we'll do that with the 3/8 bowl gauge. And I've just noticed a little tool mark just about there, so I'll take that away. And then I want to go a little bit deeper just here. And now we're heading uphill a little bit. Rotate my hips to the left. And try and come across the bottom. Lost the cut there. Come across the bottom to the middle.
Good evening, Andy.
Andy. Evening, Andy.
Now you have to slow the advance of the cut now because the wood's going much slower in the centre. Take your time. Don't rush. Just to nip that off. I just got to look at that to see what kind of cut that is, see how good or bad that was. There's a little ridge there. But other than that, it's pretty good. So I'm just going to do a little shear cut, and I'm going to use my my 1/2 inch bowl edge just to do a little shear cut just about here.
Does it need to sharpen?
It might just be a good plan just to give it a quick run on the old Pro Edge. See will that camera be on the right place? Try that. Oh, up a wee bit. Just bring it up a fraction so you can see it. Up. There we go. And we'll get a tool jig out.
Kev is saying there's some fantastic tips and instructions tonight, Brian.
Thank you, mate.
Yep, doing well, Bright. Brilliant.
Oh, I better take this table off, eh? Might be easier. So, with that diamond belt, so you don't have any pressure on the tool. I'm just kind of holding it in place there. Do one wing, turn it over, do the other wing, and then roll it over the nose. And if I put my finger on there, just roll it over, all the way over the nose, to the bottom of the wing, and back over and do the same thing again, all the way at the bottom of the wing. And that's it sharpened. That's all it needs on a diamond belt.
Gav is asking, can you show the stance when you present the tool before you do the cut for the shear cut, please?
All right, okay. Oh, I'll need to move this camera again then. Right to the tailstock. And put this camera back over here. Don't tell me I need another camera.
It is.
Let me change that. Yeah. So you can see there's the bowl here. So I'm just going to I'm going to stand here with my feet kind of slightly apart, about shoulder width apart, and all of I'm going to drop that tool rest just a fraction there, so as I can get the bottom. I'm going to shear scrape with this bottom wing now. So just from there, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the tool backwards and rotate my hips as I go, keeping the tool planted by my side till I come to the edge of the bowl. And maybe come round a little bit more. It's always good in practice to practice the cut before you actually do it. So if I can run that across there now and make sure I'm comfortable at the end. There's the little hump is just right here. So I'll concentrate on that bit first, just there, and take that away, and then I'll do one right from the center all the way out. See how that goes. I'll do the first one with the camera where it is. So as you can see what happens to my body. So just there, engage the little cut. And it's just the finest of little cuts. And I just bring my, swing my hips round. It doesn't really like that very much at this edge because it's not, because I mentioned it was thin. So it's actually starting to vibrate there. You can hear the noise it's making. So I'll change cameras again now. And I'll have another go at that. Works okay in the bottom here. So the bottom was actually okay. It's just this last little bit up here. There's a little tool mark there, which I've just got rid of. And then right on out to the edge where that little lump was is just there. So I'll concentrate on that for a second. And I'll take my finger over here and I'll feel that and see is it still there. It is still there. So just a little bit more. Now check it over there. Tiny little bit more. And just from the very bottom there. And we'll bring that right on out to the edge. That'll do. Let's have a look at that. And one of the tips I got from Glenn Lucas, I used to do this a lot, just go there and there. Glenn Lucas says if you go all the way across, you'll feel if there's any bumps. And that's pretty good. I'm going to sand that now, guys.
Larry Nixon is asking how long does your diamond belt last? Or how long does the sanding belts last on the sharp and
okay,
grinder?
so I've had this Pro Edge for about just over 18 months. And the 120 grit sand belt that I used to use, I don't think I've got one at the hand. No, because I put them all back in the sanding box. I haven't got a belt, but I've replaced it twice. And no, 3 times I've replaced it. The 120 grit that I used to use. And the diamond belt, I know Martin has had one on his Pro Edge for 4 years minimum. So it kind of lasts forever, basically. And they're really easy to look after. If you feel they're getting a bit clogged up, all you have to do is rinse them with cold water. Just give them a rub with a sponge and some cold water, and you're away. Let it dry.
Brian, I'm going to have to leave, mate. I've got a problem. So,
okay, mate.
Speak to you later. Catch you all later on. Bye, everybody.
Oh, okay, bye.
Oh, it's just you and me then, Joe.
It is.
So we'll just sand this, and I use a power sander on the inside, usually always on a bowl, because it works far better in the center. And I just bring that all the way out to the edge. You can see the sanding line coming with it. And up a wee bit. I just rolled that over that edge there to take the sharpness off it. Oh, you couldn't really see that. Put that down a bit. I'll do it again. We'll start in the middle and work all the way out to the edge. And then just roll the tool over the edge. Just like that. So that gets rid of that sharp edge on the inside, but I've got a little sharp edge on the outside, which I'm just going to take off my hand. And I'm just going to use a 120-bit grit disc. Fold it in half and just run it over the edge.
Gav's having to go as well. He says he'll
Hi, Gav.
He says thank you for the live, guys, and for the chat. I'll catch up tomorrow. So good night, Gav. The gentleman would turn us in.
Hi, Mark. How you doing?
He says he's
So that's,
stuffed. He's just had an Indian.
Yeah, good lad. Well done.
What a
I
whole
haven't had
one.
my dinner. I haven't had my dinner yet, but we'll get it now shortly. So we'll just run this now. This is 120 grit now. So I've made sure that the 80 grit has got rid of any tool marks. And now all I'm doing is trying to get rid of the 80 grit marks. Just wonder what's wrong with Terry.
I don't know. That was a sudden exit, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know, it worries me a bit. He'll come back and tell us.
Yeah. If nothing else to stop us from worrying.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a brush out. Just to get rid of any sawdust that's in there.
Is that a pastry brush? Similar.
No, it's not a pastry brush. It's an artist brush. I got 4 or 5 of them in a set. There was 5. I think there was 4 or 5 big ones. So that was 120 grit, and I'm actually very happy with the shape of that now. That's
looks
smooth
really nice.
as a
Nice and
baby's
smooth.
bottom, as they say.
Miss T's
So-
would turning us in. Evening, everybody. Sorry I'm late. Evening,
And
Miss
I
T.
used this bit of 120 or 240 grit on the last one on the outside, so we'll throw it away and get a nice fresh bit. Hang the expense.
Yeah. Throw caution to the wind.
So in the middle, the disc is almost flat. But as you bring it out to the edge, I'm just tipping it over on its edge a little bit so as I can drive that line of shavings or sawdust all the way to the edge of the bowl and hopefully up the extractor. Roll the edge. And that'll be that.
Wow.
Happy with that. I'm just going to quickly clean that out with a bit of methylated spirits now.
Is there a name for the different tones in the wood, like the dark compared to the light?
Yeah, well, normally on woods, the dark bit is the heartwood, and the light bit is the sapwood.
Right.
So you can see that particularly on the likes of yew and
Yes.
other hardwoods like that, apple and stuff like that. You'll see it particularly on fruit woods. But I'm sure there's a technical name for it, Joe, but I don't know it.
No, fair enough.
So that's that nice and clean. A little
Larry
bit of sanding
Nixon's
sealer on that now.
having to leave. Good night,
Bye, Larry.
Larry.
What time is it? 9:05. That's
Yep.
okay. Just a real simple bowl because I was just covering for Wayne, and we only decided to do it last night, so I thought a nice simple bowl would be fine. Oops.
Kev is saying this by far is the most informative live I've seen. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Kev.
And Michelle's saying I can see a face.
Oh no, she always sees
Oh,
faces.
Now I'm
But
trying
who
to look
cares?
for the face. Oh no, yeah, I can. 2 eyes and a nose, Michelle.
Yeah,
Mm.
there's a picture of the scream in here.
TF Turning's in. Good evening, Tim.
Hi, Tim. Welcome along, buddy. Whoops, whoops.
Yeah.
Let me just get that. I may have actually overthinned this. Oh, look at that. I lifted some of that. Be careful of that there, guys. Look, my drip board underneath has got some intrinsic colour stain on it. So if I wiped up some spilt sanding sealer and it just lifted the stain right back out of there. So I'll go back to a clean piece of cloth now.
Right.
Just to be on the safe side.
Okay. Roy seems to think you would make a great wood turning instructor.
Oh, thanks, Roy. I don't have enough knowledge yet, Roy, to think about doing anything like that. Because I'm only turning for 2.5 years. Well, it'll be 3 years in February. So I don't think I've got enough knowledge yet. But I'm
Dara
quite willing
says
to. Sorry, Joe, go ahead.
No, you're carrying on and I'm going on to something else. Go on, keep going.
Oh, you're all right. I forgot what I was going to say now.
Dara says, I see it. It's almost like a tiger face.
Ooh.
That's not what I saw, so I'm totally wrong.
Now, you see, these kind of artistic things, Joe, are open to interpretation.
Okay.
I can't see a face in it.
No, I can't either.
No, lost it. Michelle will point it out to me when I take it into the house.
Yeah.
So we're back to our favourite. Oh, that's the old tin. Throw that in the bin. Should really keep those tins, really, shouldn't I?
You should.
So we're back to Yorkshire Grit again, guys.
So Michelle says that will cost you, Mr. O.
What? What will cost me? Oh,
And
what did I forget, Joe? What did I forget?
Sanding sealer.
Oh, I done sanding sealer. I forgot to put a little bit of super glue in there, which I'm going to do right now.
Andrew is asking, why do you thin the sanding sealer?
Because I like it thinner because it penetrates better, I think. That's just my opinion. That doesn't mean to say that's true or not, but that's my opinion. So I'm going to have to sand this again a little bit. But that's actually just soaked in there nicely. That's good. We'll just let that sit there for a second. Clean the nozzle before you put the lid back on, Brian. That's a reminder for everybody. If you don't, this is what you end up with. One of these.
Oh dear.
A stuck lid. It won't come off.
And you've still kept it?
Yeah, I've kept it to remind myself to clean the nozzle.
Nostalgia.
Just wipe that off there.
Lewis is in, the Klondike Craftsman.
Hi,
Good
Lewis.
evening, Lewis.
Welcome along, buddy. Just kind of wipe that excess super glue off of there and let this tissue stick to my fingers. Another clean piece of tissue. Oh, the expense of it all.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're going to need to sit down soon.
Oh, I'm going to have to go meditate or something after this. Right, let's get some Yorkshire Grit on this now.
Ward is asking, what do you cut the sealer with?
Cellulose sanding sealer. Cuts nicely with rust and cellulose thinners. Now, if you know anybody in the automotive trade and they do paint spraying, they buy that in like 5 litres or 25-litre containers. So if you know somebody in that business, you should be able to pick it up quite handily. But that's Rustins make that for us wood turners. I only use that on cellulose. I only thin cellulose sanding center because that's what I use. I do have the spray-on versions that I got. These ones. I don't really like these, but I'll show you them.
What is it you don't like
about
them?
Chestnut Products do these cellulose sanding sealer, and I see Wayne using these all the time. And they do an acrylic one. So I've no idea what you would thin that with. Probably just the same stuff, I would think.
Maybe.
Don't know. But anyway, that's your other options. There's lots of options. There's lots of sanding sealers. You can make your own if you want. It's not hard to make. You just need to get some shellac flakes and some thinners. You can use methylated spirits and make your own if you want. But it takes
Doesn't Chestnut do the sealer and thinners? It does do thinners, doesn't it?
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Chestnut doesn't. Oh, he does. But then he says you shouldn't thin his product. But then that's a cunning plan. That's maybe a cunning plan to sell more product.
Yeah.
If it was me that was making it, I'd be telling you shouldn't be thinning it either. But speed down to about 400-ish. And we'll just work that until it's ready.
Gary Glass is having to leave us.
Hi, Gary.
Lights out
Good night,
time.
buddy.
Yeah.
When are you home again, Gary? Before you go, we'll have to meet up, son. Get you down here, have a drink or something. That'll be interesting.
Hopefully he's heard you before he goes.
I hope so. Dara says you can't get chestnut here, but you can make it with you can make sanding sealer with, as I say, shellac flakes and some sort of solvent. Methylated spirits does it, or in your case, denatured alcohol. Yeah. Should be fine. And Mark Harvey says use distilled water for acrylic. Okay, Mark, there you go. Oh. That's an interesting piece of information. I don't like the spray cans. I can't seem to get on with them. They don't seem to work for me. But then,
no.
Do you know what I'm like? I don't like embellishing waxes either very much.
Well,
it's maybe my fault.
Everyone was too much. The same.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember reading out Douglas Mungham's name, but he's in the chat. Yeah, he's saying rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth II. And Brian, that looks great. Good night, all.
Good night, Douglas. Thank you, buddy.
Night, Douglas.
Yeah. Godspeed, Lizzie. Is all I can say.
Yeah.
Funeral's not till next Monday, not Monday coming, but the following Monday. I will have no live that day. There'll be no live from me that Monday. I'll be not doing anything as a mark of respect to Her Majesty. I'll have a day off.
Why not?
And it's going to be a public holiday, so.
It is.
It is, yeah. I give everybody the opportunity to watch, at least watch on the television or go somewhere to do something. Turn the speed up a bit.
Dara is saying we can get Hampshire Sheen sanding sealer, but not chestnut. Go figure. And Lewis has confirmed that.
Yep. That's what I use all the time. This is what I use all the time, guys. Pre-thinned cellulose sanding sealer from Hampshire Sheen. Yeah. That one cost me £11.50.
Chestnut on Mylands in Canada.
Mylands, yeah. I'm not rubbish to anybody else's product by any means, because I'm sure they all do exactly what they say on the tin. But it's just that I'm kind of that's kind of what I started with, And if something works for me, I tend not to change it.
Yeah.
So that's why Yorkshire Grit, Hampshire Sheen works, does the job. Can't really go wrong. Turn the speed up a little bit more, and just kind of, what we're doing is adding a little bit of pressure now to kind of set the wax, if you like. It's in the Hampshire Sheen and the Yorkshire Grit.
Hands that feel pity can be soft as your face, with light brown Yorkshire gritty.
Still not quite coming off clean yet, so have to keep going for a second or two longer.
You can see it coming up gradually.
Yes, we're almost there. One more pass, and we should be there. I should do. Last but not least, our favourite thing, Hampshire Sheen. That high gloss food safe wax. Made of a combination of microcrystalline and carnauba wax.
Is that
Just
quite
a little
hard?
bit. It produces quite a hard wearing finish, yeah. It's not as hard as straight microcrystalline, but
Hard enough.
it's hard enough for my liking. So just give the outside another little buff as well. Just while I'm here. What I normally do is I kind of normally just rub this until I feel that, see how that cloth is kind of sticking to that now? And that tells me it's just about ready to buff. Clean piece of cloth again. Okay, we can turn the speed up. So we're running at about 1200 revs there. And just touch the cloth against the piece of work. And let it do the work.
Wesley Handler's having to run.
Bye, Wesley. Catch you later,
Bye,
buddy.
Wesley.
Thanks for coming in.
He says the ball is looking fantastic, Brian.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Night, Wesley.
So we're getting on getting near 9:30. The only thing I have to do now is take off this tenon. But if everybody wants to get off and go and do something else, I'll take the tenon off at my leisure tomorrow.
Okay, Lewis
Or
is.
if everybody wants to see the tenon coming off, let us know in the chat and I'll take it off. If you're quite happy to stay there, you're not bored to death already.
Give over. Lewis is off to supper. See you all.
Hi,
Looks
Lewis.
great, Brian.
Thank you, mate.
Kevin's
Enjoy your
saying
supper.
keep going. Dara's saying do it now.
Do now. Do it now.
Tim's saying take it off, take it off.
Take it off.
Susie's saying keep
Yeah.
going.
That sounds like my house.
Looking, Brian, I'm staying, says Mark.
Okay.
I think that gives you a good
Just
idea, doesn't it?
Just because you want me to see you dropping this, eh? That's what you all want.
Mr. G, go for it.
I'm going to use a faceplate just, if I can find it. I could put it on my cold jaws, but I'm not going to. Where are all the... here we go.
What's
So-
in by virus says do it now. Your internet could pack up.
Yeah, this is true, of course. This is true. That should be very good tonight. So we'll just take that off of there.
Shh.
And we'll put this
Don't
little
tempt
thing on.
fate.
Come on. I'll close it first, you muppet. There we go. Put that little ring back on. That's just a faceplate ring mounted on a piece of old kitchen worktop. And I'm going to use a piece of tissue because I've only got a piece of this black router mat and it sometimes leaves a mark on the bowl. So we'll fold this up.
Not more kitchen roll, Brian.
Oh, I know, the extravagance is unbelievable here tonight. I'll be getting into trouble when I get in the house. So pop that in there. Pop that in there. And now you'll see the reason for me putting the little hole in there. So I'll bring up my tailstock, mount that on the tailstock, and then slide it on in. And that should be in the middle now.
Right.
So if I just put some pressure on that, we'll turn the speed down. Don't do an Ed Oliver. Switch on at 3000 revs. And we'll just check, see how good that is. Pretty near perfect, I would say. Bring up a tool rest. Get the mess in my workshop. There's shavings everywhere. What's going on?
Woodart learner's having to go. He says it's not one of his good days, so he's going to go to bed. Take care.
Ah, boy. Take
Bye.
care, buddy. Hope you feel better tomorrow.
Take care, Andy. Good
So I'm
night.
just moving the tailstock out of the way a little bit because it's a little bit of a design flaw, I think, Axminster banjo. There's a big, long distance from the edge of the banjo to the tool post. So you kind of have to make room for it. About there, somewhere. Should be good. Now, this is one of the only times that I would use a bowl or a spindle gouge on a bowl. Because I like to take this off with a spindle gouge. But I'm going to start with a little 10mm bowl gouge. And I'll just, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work towards the headstock. So I'm pushing towards the headstock all the time. It's almost the same cut as I was doing before. So just take a little bite and push it on towards the headstock. So we'll turn that on and turn the speed up. About 600-ish there, that'll do fine. That tool rest is far too high, Brian. Drop the tool rest down a fraction.
Brent Beecroft has joined us.
Hi, Brent.
Good evening, Brent.
So we'll just take that little cut there. And just push that in towards the centre of the headstock. That could go a bit faster, I think. It's a little bit better. Again, remembering to close the face as you get nearer the edge, so you don't get a catch on the bottom wing. So I learned this technique from Phil Anderson, a YouTube friend on YouTube. Don't be greedy, Brian. Don't try and take too much. Just a little cut. And that's just a little pull cut there now, it's just on out there. Little pull cut. Make sure that's nice and flat. What I'm going to do now is just check that that's flat across the bottom. So we'll employ a steel ruler for that. We'll just pop a ruler across there. So we've still got a little hump in the middle, so we'll take a little bit more out of that. I think that should be much better now. Remembering that I finished this edge earlier, so it should be good there now. As long as I can see daylight. Just one little bit more, I think. Right. Now I'm going to be happy with that. But I'm going to check it anyway, just to make sure. That's perfect now. So now it's just sitting on its rim, rather than anywhere else on that. So, spindle gauge. So we're going to use a spindle gauge now just to take this knob off. So we'll turn the speed down a little bit. And what we'll do is we'll just nibble that away, just a little bit at a time. And then go in at this angle. And if I bring that stop switch over to where my leg is, oh, I just pressed it, no I didn't. It's where my leg is now. I can just bump that with my leg. So now the bevel is rubbing and it's pushing towards the headstock. And all, oh, I need to turn that a wee bit, that's too slow. There we go. And I'm just going to watch for the knob to stop turning. I'll just cut that on in there. There's the knob, stop turning, stop the lathe. Hold the bowl, withdraw the tailstick.
Just like that.
And then we can take the knob off.
Miss T says she uses Phil Anderson's technique too.
Yeah, it's by far and away the handiest, the easiest way to do it. I mean, you could mess about there all day, adjusting the little buttons on your coal jaws or Longworth chuck or whatever it is you use. And that's just a real nice, simple little technique. Works very well for small bowls like that. Perfect. Oh, wrong way again. Take that off, put it back in this drawer. And the last thing I need then is a little sanding arbor. So we'll just use this one. For those who haven't seen these before, it's just a piece of waste wood that came out of a project. Took it to the bandsaw, cut a slit in it, pop it in the jaws, and when you close it up, that just closes up that little gap and holds the arbor nice and firm. Free sanding arbor. Let me just move that out of the way, put it over there. And the last thing we'll do is we'll just sand off this bottom bit. There's a little rough bit there. We can turn the speed up again. There we go. Just give that a little rub with the sander. I'll put my extractor on. It's always a good idea.
It is.
Too close. Can't get the bowl in. You can see that or not.
Yep.
I could maybe do that. Try that for an angle. I need to come down a bit more.
Half the bowl. Ah,
there you go.
That's better.
So if I just do that now, you'll see that I'm using the bottom half of the sander just to make sure I've got it nice in the middle here. And then I'll put it flat on it and just run it over the whole base, not touching the edge. I'm not getting anywhere near that edge. Just the rest of the base, give it a nice little rub over. And that's 240 grit that's on that sanding pad, so
That's
basically
just
will be done.
answered Kev's question of what grit, Brian.
Well, it
240,
depends how.
you said.
Sometimes you might get a little bit of tear out in the bottom when that, particularly with softwoods, when you get to the middle, it might just pull out a little thread or something, and you'll be left with a little bit of tear out in the middle. You may need to start with 80 grit or whatever you need to get the job done. But because I had a nice finish on there, where 240 grit's fine. It'll really depend on how good your tool control is. We'll finish that now with a tiny little bit of sanding sealer.
We'll turn into my Barry saying, how many cameras, Brian?
How many cameras have I got?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you, I'll talk you through the cameras just in a second. I just use my finger just to rub that in so they don't take it over the edge. And then just wipe off the excess. And basically, I can finish that on the buffing wheel, which I'll do later. I'm not going to bore you with that. Unless none of you have seen a buffing wheel in action, which I find it hard to believe. If you need to see a buffing wheel in action, stick it in the chat and I'll show you it. I'm in no hurry to go anywhere. So that's that bowl finished. Pop this table up.
Does anyone want to watch Brian use a buffing wheel? Kev says buff.
Oh, it can't be that sad, surely. Okay, it's buffing wheel.
He's going for it tonight. Yep.
There's I.
He wants to see the whole kit and caboodle.
So I have a buffing wheel system from Chestnut Products. And this is it. It comes with 3 wheels. That's the Caruba wheel. That's the White Diamond wheel. And this is the Triple E. As people call it, Triple E, but it's actually not Triple E at all. It's Triple E. Don't ask me why it's called Triple E, but it is.
Mark
As in the country,
buff.
Triple E.
Yes, he says actually, not buff. Dara
So
says, yep, buff it.
We have a mandrel here that just goes into the chuck. I'll put that on that camera so you can see this better. I lost my chuck key. There it is. So this just fits in the jaws. It's got a little recess in here, so the jaw actually holds it. So when you put it in, the idea when you put it in is you want to push it to the back on one jaw and let the rest of the jaws close over on it. Tighten it up, and we'll start with the Triple A. So this is just a threaded bar that goes in there. Put that back in overhead for you so you can see that going on. And I just spin it on. And it kind of locks into place. It's self-locking because when you turn it, it'll lock.
Right.
So this should be running around 1,000. Maximum is 1,200 for these buffing wheels. So I can run it normally at about 1,000. I'll just take a little bit of this bar and just rub it gently on it. And that's a cutting compound. So the secret with these is, let me show you on this camera again. The secret when you're using the buffing wheel is to use this portion here. Don't try and buff up here, anywhere over there. Just this bit.
Between 7 and 8.
If that's a clock, somewhere between 6 and 8 is the ideal place.
Kev is asking, are they all loose mops?
Yes, they are. So I'm just going to give that bottom a quick rub there with the Triple E, and I'll just turn it. So I've done it across the grain there, if you like. And then I'm going to turn it and do it with the grain. And that should be enough of that. Now, the important thing to think about when you're using a buffing wheel is if you've got a sharp edge, don't get it caught in the wheel. The sharp edge must always go away from the wheel. Okay? So if you were doing the inside, you have to do it from the in to the out, middle to out. Don't try and do it that way, because that'll rip it out of your hand. So that's that one. And to get that back off again, you just spin it. So hold the chuck and spin it off. That's that one done. Pop that back in its drawer. And we'll go to the White Diamond. Again, just spin this on. So this is just a finer cutting compound. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. Spin the wheel up. Just a little touch with the cutting compound. You don't need a lot. And then do the same process again. So we'll go across the grain first. And then with the grain. Have a quick look. Yeah, it's pretty good. That'll do. Spin that off again. Put Put that back in its drawer. I put them back in the drawer, guys, to keep them tidy and try not to get shavings on them. Because it's not good when you get shavings on them. It scratches your work. Particularly if you've got a nice expensive bit. And this is just a hard carnauba wax stick. Again, just a little rub. Don't have to do too much. And repeat the process. Now, because this is the final buff, I could do the whole bowl now if I wanted to give it that nice carnauba wax finish. And I'll just do the outside edge here there for you, just to let you see it being done. So I'm just doing it one bit at a time. Not in the right camera, I'm not. Got that. No, not that one, that one.
No, I can see what you're doing.
There you go, there's the. And I'll just finish the outside here for you, and I'll leave the inside, because it's actually not too bad. What I would normally do is I would come back tomorrow and redo this again. There we go. And that's the buffing quills. It's a good investment if you haven't got a set of these guys. Chestnut products. Grab yourself a set. They're about 90 quid, I think. And that comes with everything you need to get you going, plus the 3 sticks of grit and cotton compound and carnauba wax. And you also get, you can also buy these little ones here, these little dome shaped ones for doing the inside of a bowl if you want. You could do them
Right,
as well. So they come as well. And there's also a little mandrel here, this little mandrel that comes with the kit, which is for fitting on a drill. If you have a bigger piece, you could just do it on a drill. So that's the buffing kit. So there we go, guys. That's us kind of done. So let me just rearrange my cameras a little bit. I need to drop this camera down a fraction. That's the wrong one, right? Oh,
Kev says, I'm so glad you didn't colour it, Brian.
yep, it didn't need it. Definitely did not need it. It's so that camera, go to that. So there we go. That's the little bowl.
Getting some really nice comments coming in. Super job.
Nice,
Absolutely
neat
brilliant.
little rim in it. There's not a lot of weight in it, but what I've done is I've left it quite heavy down at the bottom end, so as it has a little bit of weight on it, so as it doesn't tilt easily. There's the bottom finished.
Michelle Ousby says, very informative, very nice.
There you go. And we'll put Maurice in there just to keep him contained. So there you go, guys. That's that job done. That was me just covering for Wayne because he's probably enjoying himself this evening. He's maybe have a couple of sherbets or red wines, maybe even. So let me bring Joe back in. Don't know what happened to Terry. I'll give Terry a message. We nearly pressed the remove button there, Joe.
Oh, what?
Again. And I'll bring myself back on camera. There we are, guys. So 20 minutes to 10. That's just a quick stand-in for Wayne. Thanks very much for all of you guys coming in to have a watch and see what I was up to today. Give you one last look at the set. I can't do that camera thing. So there it is. There's it's got a nice shape on the outside, I think, anyway. And the bottom is nicely finished. No tool marks, no sanding marks, and it's a lovely piece of wood. And we didn't lose anything off the rim at all. We didn't touch the rim at all. So it's still 9 1/4 inches. I'll go measure it. Go measure it now. It is still 9 1/4 inches across. Absolutely. Oh, just in case you don't believe me. There you go. 9 1/4 inches across. Perfect.
Excellent.
So I enjoyed that. Hope you guys did. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, maybe think about subscribing. I'll be on again this Monday. And share this video out, guys, so other people can have a look at it and see. I would appreciate that. So with that, it's good night from Joe.
Good night.
And it's good night from me. Thanks very much for coming in, guys. I really do appreciate everybody who comes and watches my videos. Good night, everybody.
Bye.